Okay, so in this session we're going to look at animating text and typography. So you can see here what we're going to produce for this first part. So the first stage is to create your new project. Okay, so you've created your untitled project. You've got this familiar project window. We click on new composition here, so this is another way of creating a composition. So we'll give it a name, animating text. If you can set so where you've got preset here, if you can set it to HDTV 1080, now it automatically sets the frame rate to 24, but I'm going to set it to 30. Again, you can, it's down to your judgment this, but I think for the moment we'll set it to 30. Duration 5 seconds and OK. Okay, so we just want to set up the interface. Now we want to set up the character and paragraph panels here. Now if you look over to the far right here, you will see them sort of nested in here. I just bring them back in. Sorry. You'll see them in here. They might be compressed, but you'll see the title, paragraph and character. Mine are slightly expanded here. But what we want to do is we want to separate them out because we're going to be using these a fair bit in this one. So if you just drag out to the left here, so I'll just do that again. So you see when you drag anything you get this little kind of frame, and you can see the frame determines where that panel is going to be snapped to. So we want to kind of snap it to the left hand side of here. So if we drag to there and let go, you'll see it snaps to this left hand side. Same with the character. We want the character to snap to the top of the paragraph here, so we can see we've got the two of them there, and then I can just drag the paragraph down so it snaps to the bottom of character. So you want to end up with this view, character and paragraph, so we can see all the settings for both. And then if you reset the two of them, so we go back to the default settings. So if you click on the three lines here, the menu, reset character, same with paragraph, 3 lines, reset paragraph, sets everything both back to 0 or to the default settings. Okay, so the reason we're resetting them is because the settings are inherited from one project to another, so you might have unusual settings in here. So we've reset everything, and now we want to choose our font. So for this one we want a kind of a rounded font, so we're going to go for Arial rounded. So we can just type a search for Arial, and then we've got Arial rounded here. So if we select that, font size we're going to go fairly large, so we're going to go for 150. Okay, we're going to send, so in paragraph here we're going to center the text. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to add our text. So to do that we're going to use the text tool here. If you click and hold on the tool, you've got horizontal or vertical options. We're going to stick with horizontal. Click in the composition window. I'm going to type out the words in capitals, motion graphics. Okay, select the move tool, and then again we can shift that around. We want to align it, center align it. So if we go to the align panel here, okay, you can click on that to expand it. We're not going to bring that out to here. We could do, but we'll leave it here. Click on center align. Okay, we can center vertically and horizontally. I actually just want to center horizontally at the minute. So I'm going to just move it back up a bit and then center horizontally. Okay, now it's useful to know, if you go back to select the text tool, what you can do with the text tool is once you've created text you can go back in and select individual letters and edit them. Okay, you can click to place the cursor. You can use the arrow keys right and left to move the cursor around. So you can edit text once it's been created. Okay, you can also double click on a word to select it. So with the text tool selected, if you move away from the text, you'll see it switches to the move tool cursor, which is useful because then you can click and drag and still move the text around while you're in text tool rather than having to move back to Move tool. Okay, so to add additional text, if you press Control and Enter, that puts you into the Add Text, creates the Add Text tool, and then we can click and we can add some text. So we're going to add the word After Effects in capitals again, and that will also create a separate layer for that additional text. Okay, so we just want to align these up, so we can select the Move tool here, we can shift the text around as we want. So I'm just going to position these roughly around the center here, and then again we're going to align them to make sure they're aligned to center horizontally. Okay, so you can see here, if we just expand the layer with the text layers, we have these two main settings. We've got text settings here, and then we've got the familiar transform settings that we've looked at before. Okay, so I just want to adjust the text slightly before we animate it. So you can select each text block, and we're going to just adjust what's called the tracking here. So I'm going to just, we can just click and drag this actually, which is quite nice with the text selected. So we can just, rather than worrying about putting in values, we can just judge this visually. So I'm just going to shunt in the letters motion graphics a bit and then realign if I need to. And then with After Effects, I'm just going to shunt those out slightly. Okay, so we're going to now animate this. So we want to select both layers. We can press Control A, click inside the composition, inside the layer window, and Control A, select both. If we press P, we get the position property we know about. If we now press Shift and T, we also get the opacity or transparency setting. Okay, so we're going to animate position first. If we move the playhead to 1 second, and then if we click to keyframe the position, alright, and that places a keyframe there, so we want this is where we want them to end up. Move the playhead back to the beginning, and now we can adjust the position. Alright, so I'm going to click and move, sorry, I want to do them individually, so I'm going to click and move motion graphics upward. If you click and drag and then hold down Shift, remember it will constrain it, and same with After Effects. Move that out, you can see the anchor point and the motion path here. Okay, scrub the needle and we can judge whether we're happy with that. Okay, we're going to animate the opacity now. So if we move the playhead to 20 frames, 1 second and 20 frames, and again keyframe the opacity by clicking on the timer. That creates a keyframe. Let's leave that at 100%, bring that back to 0, and here we're going to reduce the opacity down to 0. Okay, and then if you move the playhead back to 0, press spacebar, you can preview your text animation, and this is a very commonly used technique. Okay, so we've learnt about how to create text and animate it, some of the basics there.